It's PT Sports 84. Pete Toll. Want to dive into the NBA official opening night roster update. So it's finally here. A lot of people have been waiting on it. As far as the current rosters being updated with new players, player position edits, like all that kind of stuff. So I've been anxiously awaiting this one for a while just to get the rosters cleaned up and things like that. So, going to go through this live. The roster update just dropped about 5 minutes ago. So, pretty much we're going through this together. But let's dive into what the changes are to the rosters. Let's see. So, right off the bat, what's up, Dopey Music? Carrie, what's up? Yeah, man. Me too. I've been waiting on the roster update for a little bit. I wasn't sure when it was going to come out for sure. But hey, Terrence, Kyle. Patch comes out on Thursday, from what I understand. So player faces and stuff hopefully get updated then. Um, Actually, let me do something real quick before I go into this. Just because I always forget about it until like after the video, and then I have to do a separate video. Just want to see if the jerseys maybe got updated um, for some teams. Uh, Celtics. That's not the New Jersey, so they don't have it. I guess that's going to go into the patch, the New Jersey updates and stuff like that. So that's what I was looking at real quick. Let's see. Just do real quick to see. Yeah. So the jerseys will go into the be in the patch. I would assume that would be my guess to get the city jerseys and stuff like that. Since I don't know that all teams revealed theirs, but let's go into the roster update changes and stuff like that. I already saw position changes. So looks like, oops, looks like here Tobias Harris gets changed to small forward. His position changed. Let's see. Looks like we've got obviously Michael Foster Jr. is added in the game. He was not in previously. He's on a two-way contract this year. Um, it surprised me a little bit that he got the contract, but I guess they're going upside there for that. Paul Reed got changed to center as his primary position. Looking here just to see if anybody else got any touch-ups or anything like that. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, look for the patch video coming on Thursday. If it's out on Thursday, like I expect it to be, I'll definitely have a video for that one as well. Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, I also want to kind of, as I'm going through these, I'm going to talk about each team season. I have the Sixers as my favorites. Yes, I am a Sixers fan, but I have them as my favorite to come out of the East. But Milwaukee, they're going to have a little bit of a tough start, I think, because they're missing Chris Middleton, Ingles, of course, and Connaughton now. Not sure. He does not have a torn right ACL. That is not correct there. I don't know. They did update the injuries, as you can see, but that's not correct. They have them backwards. So Joe Ingles and Pat Connaughton are backwards. So their injuries are backwards. That's hilarious. Bobby Portis Jr. Gets moved to power forward, changed positions. George Hill moved to shooting guard. Jordan Nwora to small forward. Marjan Beauchamp to shooting guard. Sandro Mamakalashvili to power forward. I don't know that I would have moved both of them. I guess you could, I guess. Bobby Portis will eventually probably go back to center once the lineups correct themselves with Middleton coming back. Everything else looks good there. Kostas Antetokounmpo with a official face scan. Those that remember, he was in the game for 2K21. Was pulled out this year because he wasn't on a team the year before, but he's back because he's on a two-way. Chicago Bulls injury to Lonzo Ball. That's unfortunate. He's going to be out longer than 1 to 2 weeks. Caruso gets moved to shooting guard. They still got Dalen Terry, shooting guard. Looks like all the changes for the Bulls. I don't expect them to be that great. I think they're going to be around that 8, 9, 10 range. In the East, Cleveland, let's see. Kevin Love gets moved to power forward. Karis LeVert moved to small forward. He's going to be the starter. Many thought Okoro was going to start at small forward, but I don't necessarily think he shot it that great enough to get that starting spot. Dylan Windler didn't get his extension picked up, which everybody saw that coming. He hasn't played. Mamadi Diakite gets the second two-way spot. He's added to the roster, officially on the two-way contract. He was there previous. He gets his position updated to center. The Boston Celtics, Mafiando Kabengele, or Kabengele, rather. Sorry, I always mess that up. Kabengele gets moved to center. Vonleh gets added with an official face scan. You see that there. He is added as a center. Injury to Danilo Gallinari. Justin Jackson is here. He's more of a power forward than he is small forward, but that's okay. Got Blake Griffin. Malcolm Brogdon still as a 2. Al Horford gets changed to center with the updated positions. Jaylen Brown updated to small forward, and Jason Tatum updated to power forward. Los Angeles Clippers, we have Paul George updated to shooting guard finally. Kawhi Leonard still the small forward. What surprises me with Reggie Jackson being possibly the starter, obviously Ty Lue hasn't named the starter per se. That was a rumor that came out, but I want to go back to Boston real quick. Cleveland and Boston. Cleveland, I think, is right there in that 3, 4, 5, 6 range. It could finish anywhere in there depending on health. Boston, I think, takes a minor step back because if you remember last year, they struggled in the beginning of the year. Not having Gallinari is going to, I think, hurt them a little bit. Obviously, big loss with Robert Williams being down. I think they take a minor step back, but still end up even ahead of Milwaukee because I think Milwaukee paces themselves better this year. It sits guys, things like that. Clippers, they're very deep as a team. As you can see, updates to player positions. They don't have Moses Brown on a two-way. That's not correct. He should be on a two-way contract. Terrence Mann gets updated to small forward. Ooh, no update to Nicholas Batum, who's going to play power forward. Interesting. Because that basically, let's see. Yeah, that basically puts them with a big old glut of small forwards and shooting guards. I would have personally, if it was me, I would have moved Nicholas Batum to power forward and Musa Diabate to center. But to each their own. Let's see. Let's look at the Grizzlies. The Clippers, I still think, end up top 3 no matter what. Even though they're going to sit guys, rest guys like Kawhi and Paul George and stuff, I still think they finish up there. Memphis is a team I'm worried about, taking a larger step back due to Jaren Jackson's injury. As you can see, they got Jackson injured right there. These injury timelines are just baffle me. I guess they don't care about the weeks and stuff being accurate. I guess the injury enough is enough for accuracy purposes, but whatever. Let's see, any position changes. John Conchar gets moved to shooting guard. David Roddy gets moved to small forward. That means Jake LaRavia is at power forward. Santi Automo will be the starting power forward to start the year. He shot it well in preseason. Um, and Vince Williams Jr. gets moved to shooting guard. Injury to Danny Green, obviously. He's out. Be interested to see if Kenneth Lofton gets any playing time. He's got an updated. They've got updated player heights in as well for a few guys like Kenny Chandler, or Kennedy Chandler rather. Kenneth Lofton 6'6". So Jaren Jackson 6'10". So they updated off the NBA.com site, so there are updated heights, at least in this update. The Hawks. What's up with Matthew Dellavedova? He's on. I always revert right to the Cavs. I'll look at Dellavedova in a minute and see what I can see with him. But Hawks, no extension yet for DeAndre Hunter because it hasn't been announced what the numbers are going to be. Updated player positions. Looks like Frank Kaminsky got moved to backup 4. Justin Holiday backup 3. That's still, let's see, backup 2 guard position for AJ Griffin. So they just flip-flopped, basically, in position. Vit Krejci's a point guard, and they still have him at small forward. They did add Tyrese Martin. Tyrese Martin has a official face scan, which is cool to see. He got scanned, obviously, during Summer League. It's good there. They got Jared Culver there. Jared Culver's another one that got his option declined a couple, year or two ago. Hawks, I would say, my opinion, highest they'll be is a 7th seed. I have them actually in the 8th seed, right outside of the in the play-in, I guess, because 7, 8, 9, and 10 are in the play-in eligible range. But let's see, Miami extension for Tyler Hero is in. That's good. I know a lot of people have asked about that. When's he going to get his extension in the game? Let's see if it is correct, though. I saw a thing where the numbers didn't fit. Yeah, so they got the numbers updated. It was where the numbers didn't match the scaling that they had for contracts. So it's fixed now. Max Strus moved to shooting guard. Duncan Robinson moved to small forward. I'm not sure about the loyalty ratings, Ethan. I'll have to dive into that a little bit later and check it. Nikola Jovic updated. Haywood Highsmith updated to power forward. Jamal Cain added in to the roster on a 2-way. Also, Drew Smith added into the roster on a 2-way. Let's look at those. They're just cap faces, obviously, but at least did a decent job of trying to get them semi-looking like themselves. Let's go over to the Charlotte Hornets. The Heat, I think, end up in the 5-6 range. I think, they're going to look to keep Jimmy Butler healthy, Kyle Lowry healthy, things like that. So they'll not necessarily play everybody tons and tons of minutes early in the season. Charlotte, this team's a mess. Everybody, I think, has heard the news now with James Bouknight. It wasn't even crazy that Bouknight got this DUI. It's the other charges from November 2021 to now. He's gotten multiple either driving infractions or he's gotten DUIs since then. He's spiraling out of control, and I'm really, really worried about his career in the NBA. I just don't think that it's going to be they're not going to pick up his option. And then on top of that, where does he fit? Because he hasn't shown anything on the NBA level. Looking at position. Well, they added Teo Maledon here. Maladone's number, I believe, is off. I've thought his number. I'll double check that for his number, but let's see. Just going through. They updated Cody Martin to shooting guard. I'm trying to look here. Nothing else. Obviously, LaMelo is out for a little while. That's why I think they take a huge step back. I have them as one of the worst teams trying to tank this year to get a high pick, but we'll see what happens. The Utah Jazz. Colin Sexton's a point guard, everybody. Like, he's backed up Mike Conley all preseason as a sixth man. I don't know why he didn't get changed to point guard there. Jared Vanderbilt's been a center all preseason. Not sure why he didn't get updated. They did update Lauri Markkanen at least to small forward. Let's see. Anything else? That's pretty much it because they didn't have many changes from the original roster. They didn't really have to, other than dropping guys and things like that, they didn't have to do much. But Olynyk stretches the floor as the power forward, and Vanderbilt covers the center spot. Even though obviously you can see the height differences, and you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Vanderbilt is an inside player that's more defensive minded. So, you know, to each their own, I guess. Sacramento, I'll be interested. Oh, the Jazz will be one of the worst teams. Once they start trading off guys, they'll be one of the worst teams. I still think the Spurs are going to be the worst trying to tank, but we'll see what happens for sure. Not sure I agree with Keegan Murray coming off the bench behind KZ Okpala at power forward, but that's what they want to do to start the year. Any position changes? Okpala was already a power forward. There's Dellavedova. Years Pro is off for Dellavedova. He's not a rookie, so that'll have to get fixed. But he's added there, obviously, with the face scan. They had him in the game already on the Classic Cavaliers team. Chima Moniki, or Moneki, I'm not sure how you say it. They can't add the visor goggles that he wears to a cap, but that would be cool if they can get him in the game on a face scan. But there he is. At least he's in the game. They're one of my surprise teams as a play-in. They take that 10th seed over Portland, I think, if everything breaks right for them. They're going to need Kevin Huerter shooting in that starting lineup. So let's see. The Knicks, finally, Jalen Brunson's updated to a point guard. So that's good to see that. They updated quickly to two guard. Shvi Mikhailuk gets updated to small forward. And that's it for them. I think that with the Knicks, they will be a play-in team. 9-10 range, personally. Maybe 8th, but I don't think they can climb that high unless they get really good production out of Julius Randle because they're going to need him, along with Brunson and Barrett to kind of be those three scorers. And then Toppin and Grimes kind of coming off the bench as your scoring options. Oh, my God. The Lakers, all right, so I am going to be critical here. So you leave Anthony Davis as center, but you don't move LeBron up to power forward. So your starting power forward on online games is going to be Wenyen Gabriel and Juan Toscano. Like, oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so player positions, they updated Lonnie Walker to small forward. So you update Lonnie Walker to small forward and you don't move LeBron to power forward. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. You update Austin Reeves to small forward, but you don't update LeBron. Okay. Matt Ryan is on a two-way, on a regular contract, but I'll be curious to see if they get a face scan for him since he was in the NBA last year. The two ways are still Swider and Pippen Jr. They're one of the play-in teams for me. Could finish anywhere from 7 to 10. I don't have them as a lock playoff team. Definitely not with the mess that this team is. I think with all the cap room next year that they have, they won't get off Westbrook until they have to, and then they'll get expirings back. They don't want anything to add to next year. They may even try to get off Damian Jones who they signed, just to make sure they clear the books, except for Davis and LeBron next year. The Orlando Magic. Update to Kevon Harris. He gets moved to shooting guard. Bol gets moved to power forward. I think he gets some actual minutes to play this year. RJ Hampton gets moved to point guard. He's going to play the backup point guard with Fultz out to start the year. Chuma Okeke, or Okeke, he is now a small forward. Terrence Ross gets moved to shooting guard. Suggs is injury free, so they say, going into the opener. Jonathan Isaac, I have no idea when he's going to play again. Kind of sad, actually. Wendell Carter Jr. gets moved to center, which is great to see now that Banchero is there. Banchero is the favorite for Rookie of the Year. The Magic, I don't know. I don't have them as last like many people do. I think the Hornets and the Pacers are going to try to tank harder. And the Magic end up with like 1 or 2 more wins than both of those teams. But I could be totally off base. They could finish anywhere from 13 to 15 in the East. It's hard to predict there. Dallas Mavericks. Spencer Dinwiddie is now a shooting guard. He's a starter. With Hardaway Jr. backing him up off the bench. Let's see. Frank Ntilikina will ball handle a little bit as the point guard. He got his position changed. Campazzo is now added to the roster. I see him overtaking Ntilikina for some minutes as a playmaker in situational lineups, not necessarily for the entire year. Because if they need more defense, Ntilikina will get to play. Tyler Dorsey's still there. There was rumors that he would be waived from the team, but he's still there. Theo Pinson gets an update to small forward. His position was updated to 6'7", which I'm curious to know if that's actually accurate, because he was like 6'5". I don't know that you get a 2-inch difference in height, but that's what NBA.com put. McKinley Wright, the fourth, is on a 2-way. They updated that. He was already on the roster. Dallas is an interesting team because they could finish anywhere from 2nd all the way down to 8th. They're one of the teams that really are going to need guys like Dinwiddie, Bullock, Christian Wood, like those guys really stepping up to help. Lots of injuries for the Nets. TJ Warren, Seth Curry, and Joe Harris are out to start the season, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Any updated positions? They updated Kyrie to shooting guard. They kept Cam Thomas at small forward. Interesting. Jesus. Again, I'm going to be critical. Patty Mills is not a shooting guard. Like Markieff Morris is a center. They already said it. Like Steve Nash has already said he's a center. Like, come on, what are you doing, 2K? Alondes Williams is a point guard. Like, are we just not gonna? Are we gonna update some positions and be selective versus others? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And people can say, well, you could change it yourself. Just change it in your own roster. But that doesn't help online or my career when you're basing a my career player, a my player based on positions of a team, or, a my NBA without a custom roster. Rotations get messed up. Like, oh my God. Okay. Denver Nuggets. Position updates. Bruce Brown gets updated to small forward. Power forward is Jeff Green. Yeah, they're not going to touch ratings or anything like that. So, at least not in this one that I know of. Zeke Nnaji gets updated to center. Vlatko Konchar gets updated to power forward. That's it for them. Let's go over to the Pacers. Buddy Hield is now the small forward with Chris Duarte as the shooting guard. Ben Matherin's the small forward, which I think he gets the starting job pretty quickly, and then Hield comes off the bench. Interesting to note, Terry Taylor got listed at 6'4", and he's a power forward. He was already 6'5", but now he's an inch less. So they must have did measurements without shoes. Andrew Nembhard got updated to 6'3". Trevelyan Queen is added to the roster as a two-way player to go with Kendall Brown, who was already there. The New Orleans Pelicans, Brandon Ingram updated to small forward. Thank you. Herbert Jones is the shooting guard because he's going to versatilely play multiple positions throughout. Larry Nance updated to center because what they ran in the preseason was Larry Nance at center. And then despite the height difference, and then they had Jackson Hayes run the power forward. Najee Marshall updated to power forward. He played a lot of power forward in the preseason. Jackson Hayes out with an injury. Does not have a broken leg, but okay. Garrett Temple updated to small forward. E.J. Liddell added to the roster. He's out with an ACL injury, but he gets a face scan from Summer League. So there he is right there. So the Detroit Pistons. We've got Cade Cunningham updated to point guard to go with Sadiq Bey as a 2. You could alternate those two if you wanted to, like flip them around, but I think Jaden Ivey kind of plays on and off the ball more. They want Cade handling the ball as much as possible. Hamidou Diallo and Alec Burks both get updated to shooting guard. Injuries to Burks, Noel, and Bagley. And we get... No, that's it. I was thinking they updated Kevin Knox, but he was already a small forward. Want to see them finally update Killian Hayes this year. Hopefully he plays well enough to get an update somewhere because they haven't updated him in a year and a half. So, the Toronto Raptors. Let's go back real quick. Let me go through a couple teams. Denver, I think, is going to be a top 3-4 team. Pacers, bottom of the barrel in the East. Pelicans could be anywhere from 3 down to 7 in the West. Pistons around that 12, 11, 12, 13 range, depending on how things shake out. And now we go to the Raptors. Vegeta, what's going on? Raptors. Let's see. I haven't got to the classic rosters. I'm literally going through this live. Just as it came out, I didn't even review it beforehand. I just dove into this video just to get right into it, to get it out to everybody. Otto Porter Jr. got updated to small forward. Looks like that's it for Toronto. Toronto could be sneaky good. They could be anywhere from 4, and they could be anywhere to 7. That's my range for them. Houston Rockets. Update for the Rockets' height. Jabari Smith listed at 6'11". Kevin Porter Jr. gets his extension in there. Let me see. Did they update McCollum? Yeah, they got McCollum's extension. So it looks like extensions are going in to the game with the updated years and stuff like that. So that's good to see those updated in. Update to position for Kenyon Martin. He's a small forward. He played it all preseason. Garrison Matthews, more the 2. He played it all preseason. Tari Eason, who I really, really, really like Tari Eason. He's updated to small forward. I think he takes that starting small forward spot before too long. Bruno Fernando's contract was updated. And they add Darius Days on a two-way contract. He was just confirmed yesterday to be on that two-way. Now we go over to the Spurs. Oh, the Rockets. A lot of people have them at like 15 in the West. I think they could be anywhere around the 12, 13 range because I don't see the Jazz or Thunder or Spurs really being that good. So I think they could get some wins with Jalen Green having an increased year. Obviously, Jabari Smith and Kevin Porter Jr. So update the position for Keldon Johnson. He's a small forward. Great to see that. Still looking. Let's see. Doug McDermott. I believe he was a small forward already. Jeremy Sojin gets the power forward spot, so he'll start. Malachi Branham is a two guard. Josh Primo is a two guard. Blake Wesley's been running point guard during the preseason. Romeo Langford beat out Joe Wieskamp, who was waived. And then we have the two-way players there that were already on the roster. Jordan Hall gets updated to point guard. He's more of a point forward, but plays a lot of point guard. Excuse me. Hugo, John Butler is 175 in Portland. John Butler is 175. I believe he was with us as listed. I just looked it up yesterday. 174 coming out of Florida State. He is a extremely. I thought I was skinny. He makes me look like the Incredible Hulk. Like his arms and stuff are like super lanky, kind of like that Pokashevsky build. The Spurs, like I said, I have them as my worst team moving forward. Update to positions. Torrey Craig gets updated to power forward. Damian Lee to small forward. Josh Okogie to shooting guard. Then we get to the OK City Thunder. They didn't have any changes actually to the roster. They just waived guys that were already there. Oh, wow. Good. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander moved to shooting guard. Josh Giddey to point guard. That's great to see because he does handle the ball quite a bit. Let's see. Chet Holmgren's got his injury. Ousmane Dieng moved to power forward. He's played power forward all preseason. Jalen Williams to shooting guard. If you were going to do that, I would have probably moved Terrence Mann to point guard if you were going to move Jalen Williams to shooting guard, but that's okay. We'll take it. Isaiah Joe added to the roster. No contract update for him yet. The official numbers haven't come out. And then their two ways were the same already. Eugene Amarui got moved to change to power forward for his position. The Minnesota Timberwolves, Luka Garza gets the two-way. They waived A.J. Lawson. I'm high on A.J. Lawson. I think he should get a two-way spot somewhere, hopefully pretty soon. Updated positions, Austin Rivers gets moved to point guard. Jaden McDaniels is a starting small forward, so that's good to see him updated. Anthony Edwards finally gets moved to shooting guard. He'll be the starter there. And Karl Anthony Towns updated to power forward. Great to see that. We'll have to see how this combo works out. OKC is not going to be very good, so I didn't even talk about them. I talked about them a few minutes ago where they would range about the 13-14 range. The Timberwolves are interesting. They could be as high as 4 and as low as 8, in my opinion. Just depends how things work out with Gobert next to Towns. And then everybody expects a big leap out of Anthony Edwards, so hopefully that reigns true. Next, we go to Portland. Anthony Simons gets updated to shooting guard. Contract update for Nasir Little. So it looks like they got all the updates in from yesterday up until late. I know the DeAndre Hunter update came like really late from Wode, so Must not have just made it into this update, but hopefully maybe tomorrow it'll get updated if we find out the official numbers. Um, Interesting, Gary Payton Jr. Is injured, but it's interesting they left him at shooting guard. I guess he'll come back and play both shooting guard and point guard. Shaden Sharp is a sleeper for me. He's pretty good. Keon Johnson's played more of a point guard hybrid role in the preseason, so surprised he didn't get a bump down to point guard. There's John Butler, 7'1", 175. Yeah, that's right. I mean, he has a skinny build here. I think this is skinny as you could possibly make him. So Olivier Sarr gets the other two-way contract spot. The Golden State Warriors updated updates for Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb. Looks like their numbers are not updated. Let's see, positions. No. So this one I don't understand. You either got to move Jordan Poole to point guard or DiVincenzo to point guard. Doesn't make sense to have those two plus Clay as a shooting guard. They did update Jordan Poole's contract, so yeah, thankfully, no more Sixth Man of the Year for Ben Simmons. No position updates needed for them. The Washington Wizards. Golden State, I have as the top team in the West this year coming out, at least in the regular season, because I think the Clippers take time to get their guys rested, so not as serious. Portland could be right there in the 9, 10, 11, range. I actually have them 11th, right outside, because they're banking on Damian Lillard coming back and all that stuff. Even with a healthy Lillard, they still were in the play-in, so I don't buy that it's going to be this massive improvement. And the Washington Wizards, Will Barton is updated to small forward. Johnny Davis to shooting guard. He has been awful in the preseason. Haven't liked what I've seen from him. Corey Kispert's hurt, but he gets updated to shooting guard. Jordan Shackle updated to small forward. And then the other two-way is Jordan Goodwin. So good to see that. Let's go back through and look at team lineups real quick to see if they've updated anything. All right, it looks like they got the lineups. So you got Wes Matthews as a small forward, but then you put him in the starter at shooting guard. That makes no sense. So it looks like, yeah, the lineups are updated accordingly. It seems like all the teams are there. The NBA today, I'm gonna bet, has to be patched, and then it will work properly. Yeah, it looks like they got all the things updated. Well, they didn't update Duarte and Heald. They're opposites. Let's see. I don't know that Tate starts at small forward. I would say Eric Gordon likely starts there. Yeah, season 2 for the patch. Yeah, for my team is when they update. They usually update at the start of the seasons for my team. They update for the player faces and stuff. Yeah, I think the lack of jerseys is that every team hasn't released their city jersey yet, and so they have to wait from the NBA. Because what people don't realize is the NBA offices give the authorization to 2K to have stuff in the game. So with that, I think they'll be in the patch on Thursday. Just my assumption, though. Yeah, see, they have Kyle Anderson as a starter when it's actually McDaniels. See, so there's mistakes already on the roster, just not paying attention to detail with it. So that's it for those. Let's look at any of the classic teams, just in case somebody got put in. I doubt it, to be honest, just because it's separate from what they do with the what they do with the what am I trying to think of? What they do with the classic teams versus what they do with the current teams. Yeah, they don't have anything updated because it's not looking like anybody's in here that's new, which I kind of figured was going to be the case, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, there's discrepancies all over. I'm not going to go. I did separate videos on discrepancies with some ratings and all that stuff for the classic players. Um, it's just an argument that is ongoing forever. They just don't pay attention to uh, those kind of details as much with the classic and stuff like that. And it's separate devs that are in charge of those things. So the specific dev has to have the time to do it and put it in and give the okay for people to work on it and all that good stuff. So um, is what it is. I'm going to look at a couple things that I had feedback wise. If players were updated, yeah. So like Paul George's default is with cornrows and stuff like that. So they'll have to patch, like when you do hairstyle one, it shows up as hairstyle one in the game, but it has a different hairstyle. It doesn't change over as the default first. And everything that 2K is doing is on a spreadsheet, so they can't go in and toggle and change and then save because it's not how that works. Let's see if Cam Reddish has a headband. Nope, he does not. Hunter, I missed your question. I'm sorry. Can you post it again? I didn't see it. I was looking to the left at or the right at my um own just kind of feedback notes to see like what I was expecting to get in and stuff like that. So yeah, I missed it. Can you post it again if you don't mind? Let me look at another thing. Let's look at some two-way or second contracts. Okay, so it looks like they updated like Kennedy Chandler's contract. Yeah, they updated his contract. Some of those were off with like missing years or super high values, like those kinds of things. It was like Kennedy Chandler, Christian Coloco, Jalen Williams, Josh Minot, and Jabari Walker were like way off. Let's see if they got Brandon Clark. Yeah, they got Brandon Clark. Oh, you got a PS5. Nice, Hunter. Good, man. Congratulations. Yeah, it's a world of difference between the um, next gen and current gen. I will never go back to current gen. Let's look at Wiggins and see if he got his extension in, so then I can kind of keep track of who was missed. Wiggins got his. So I assume Kleber got updated. Kleber is updated. Awesome. So yeah, so the contracts are in there. Did they update? Let's see. Did they update Kevin Porter? Yes, Kevin Porter's in there. His is such a weird contract. I don't think I've ever seen an NBA player sign a 1 year contract and then have it non-guaranteed throughout like that. It's a win-win for both sides, but still. I want to go over to the coaches and see if anything was updated there. I don't think so. There wasn't really much to update. I know like the Pelicans had, let's see. Just want to look at something real quick. I have my feedback in kind of in like different tiers and stuff like that. So just always have to be mindful of where it is on my sheet. Way on down the sheet apparently. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Let's see the Knicks. Did they get any additional coaches? They did not. Did they update Brian Shaw? They did not. Sidney Lowe? They did not. So no changes to the coaches at all. They're the same. Next, I want to go to look at some other feedback things, specifically the Pelicans. Do they have still no 3-point plays with the Pelicans? So this is a gripe I have, and and I'm not calling him out, so please do not aggregate this. Yeah, Maladone is on Charlotte. Don't aggregate this, but the dev that is in charge of playbooks and play types has to update a lot of teams. For example, the Pelicans don't have any 3-point plays. The Bulls don't have any isolation plays. The Sixers don't have any post-high plays for Embiid. Like they gotta clean a lot of these up. And like I said, don't aggregate it. I'm not trying to diss on the dev. They got a lot going on, but I've made note to it a couple times on social media and haven't got a response at all to any of it. So I did put out there what teams were missing what plays versus what plays the player types are assigned. So they're just off as far as that goes. I want to look at something real quick. I'll use the Sixers as a starter here. Let's see. Yeah. So some of these are still, their play types are off as well. It really needs revamping. So the play types and things like that. So that'll be something that playbooks and play types definitely need to be fixed. I want to check some shoe edits for various players. Where is that? Shoes. Nope. Shoes are not updated all the way either. I know how I can tell because Cleveland and Karis LeVert, he was previously locked. Let's see if he got an update. I don't think so. He's still locked. Yep, he has ability to add Nike, but he was previously locked into Jordan, so that's good, but it still didn't update with that. Let's see if Paolo Banchero has Jordan. Yeah. Okay. So he's in Jordan brand at least. So, I mean, pretty good update. I mean, we got a lot of the position changes and stuff like that in, which I'm happy about. There's a few that got missed as far as position updates go, but for the grand scheme of things, most stuff's updated. Let's see if the play initiator ability got updated for Jaylen Brown. Yes. All right. So they got play initiator edits updated. Perfect. So let's see if Wagner got it. Where is Wagner? Yep. Wagner got it. Okay. Good. 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 So they updated it. Did Zion get it? Yes. Awesome. Play initiator is updated for all players now. So those are accurate. So now players that are supposed to handle the ball, help run plays, they will be correct. So glad to see that. That's definitely well worth it to get that update. I will be back on Thursday, maybe even tomorrow if there's some more stuff updated, but Thursday for sure with a player likeness update I think they're going to do like they usually do, mixing current players with retro. So I'll be curious to see who all gets changed. Please, if you haven't already, can you go ahead, if it, all 28 of you watching, if you can, please go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. Also, hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. I'm going to do as many of these as much as I can all year. Whenever there's a major roster update, I'm not going to do a video if there's only a roster update just to fix like one jersey number or like something like that. But any transactions and stuff like that, I will be making reference of. Any feedback you guys have, of course, post in the comment section, but you can also hit me on Twitter at Pete Toll. So it's PETETOAL. You can DM me any errors or changes you see for the current teams. And I can get that feedback logged and hopefully over to 2K accordingly. And that pretty much wraps up the video. Like there was all the movement we expected. All the guys released to the free agent pool that were not on teams. All guys added 100% accurate rosters. Now we just gotta wait on the player appearance updates, and then a few weeks in, they usually do a attribute update for players once we see how they're doing during the regular season. That usually comes sometime beginning in November. Likely, probably, I would guess, either November the 3rd or November the 10th. One of those 2 days, we'll get ratings updates for the first official rating update. So I'll do a video on that as well, because I always log the changes and stuff like that. So we'll be able to see what's updated where. So appreciate everyone watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Just wanted to go through, like I said, the current roster. No changes that I could tell to the historic rosters. I'll check the My NBA era stuff and do a separate video if I find anything, but I'm not optimistic that that went in just because the focus was going to be on current teams. So hope everybody has a great rest of your Tuesday. Might be back tomorrow if there's some minor changes that get fixed in the game for the rosters. Otherwise, it'll be Thursday morning. If a patch comes out, I'll have a new video out. We'll go live and go through all the faces together and stuff like that. So thanks everybody for watching. Please, like I said, subscribe, like the video, and I will talk to everybody next time.